Welcome everybody. My name is Gijsbert Cox. I'm industry lead for insurance. And together with me is Yin He, a senior product manager for our insurance solutions. And please have a seat and we'll explain you today what we have in, we show you that solution actually in a minute. But also we'd like to hone out a little bit and talk about the insurance industry, what their challenges are. And also talk about how Appian as a process automation platform is enabling a lot of insurance to move that business forward. We have lots of use cases, but today we want to talk about connected underwriting for life. But it's also an interesting example if you're not from the insurance industry. So let's have a look at that, and let's talk a bit why we developed this solution actually. So if we talk to our customers in the life insurance space, and we saw Pack Life earlier today, so you may have seen that session, they are struggling with a lot of data, right? They're very dispersed, very legacy systems, and there's a lot of manual processes for these underwriters. And actually, as Accenture and Gartner actually say on this slide as well, is they spend 40 to 50%, which is an enormous amount of time actually on manual processes, really copy pasting, extracting information from submissions, and they should be really focused on top line and understanding the risk they're insuring. So they need some support, and that's why we have developed this solution, which we're going to show in a minute. But before that, let's hone out a little bit and explain to you why this has happened in the insurance industry and what we see as a general aspect of in the insurance industry of this dispersed data. And for that, I'm using an analogy of musical instruments, so that might explain it a bit better. Because if you look at an insurance company and then their siloed systems, I have oversimplified it on this slide, I realize that, but you have CRM systems with your customer data, your broker data, policy systems, claim systems, billing systems, and your finance and accounting systems. And you could say those are your musical instruments. Those are the musical instruments you use to actually support your customer, support your broker, and actually insure the risk and pay out your claims when it's necessary. However, there is a caveat there, because over the years, and Canada Life is 150 years old, Aviva is 300 years old, you have collected many of these systems, and for different lines of businesses, you may have started another system, or when you have done mergers and acquisitions, you've collected also the systems from other insurance companies. So there's actually a lot of these systems, and it's referred to as your legacy data, or but it also has a positive connotation to it, right? Because it has your book of business, it's your customers, your risk are in these systems, and I've simplified here again. I mean, I'm not talking about document management systems where there are lots of those, spreadsheets, post-it notes, Outlook is being used a lot in this context as well. So that's what we mean with the data is dispersed. And if you want to service your customers well, you need to use these musical instruments to make some music for your customers, basically. So that's what you try to do, right? And you need to break through that data silo noise to surface the data that you need to support your customers. And for that, I think you need an orchestrator. You need an orchestrator to use that data to really elevate that customer service and do something different, right? That you've done before, and do something that is better than your competitors. And actually, it's not just about your legacy, right? It's also, if you think about the music industry, it's also about, nowadays, about Deezer, Spotify, Apple Music. There's DJs that cut and paste music and create new music. So there's a really interesting new distribution channels, new music that actually augment your music, i.e. your data. So think about telematics, satellite information, rules engines that are created by reinsurers or other providers that actually you can bring into your own music, as it were, to enhance what you're doing today. So I hope you can understand that. And I've mentioned the word data a lot. And actually what I'm explaining here is a different way of explaining data fabric. You've heard that a couple of times over these days. And it's about not collect all those data from your legacy and then start to innovate. Why not connect to it, orchestrate it, and use it as you want to use it? It's faster, and we, as Appian, enable you to do that. Now, I've said a lot, but if you combine what I said into a picture, then it looks like this, right? So we want to provide that connected insurance capability to you. It's about connecting that legacy data that you have, right? That contains your golden sources of your books of business. It's about connecting that, but it's also about what you see on the left-hand side, bring into the process all the new cool technologies that are coming to market every week almost, bring that into the connected insurance layer, which is agile and where you can develop something very quickly that you need to support your underwriters, your underwriter operations, policy administration, or claims. And that's what we provide to you. And once you have that layer, you can actually collaborate with your partners and with your customers much more easily, right? Intermediaries, loss adjusters, people you need for some extra medical information. Often the process breaks down. That's what I depicted on the right-hand side. If you can incorporate them with our portal technology or set them up as a different persona with a limited access to that data, we can do that with Appian. So you actually work on the same data and get a seamless processing capability. And last but not least, once you have that, and we talked about prototyping a lot in the last 2 days, you can actually create different prototypes and different ideas of embedded insurance or new opportunities, new distribution methods you see, new products that you see, build them quickly and jump into that red box that you see, opportunities. So that's what we do. And connected insurance, we have built solutions on our platform that actually speed up your time to market. And those are the 3 solutions that we have in our insurance suite. Today we're going to talk about the one in the middle, and Yin is going to explain that to you. But I also would like to say that, as you see on the left-hand side, we have also an underwriting workbench for property and casualty, which is more about submission management, extracting that data and supporting the underwriter to get a very quickly an idea of the risk and the customer, which is very interesting for the commercial and specialty lines especially. And on the right-hand side, you see connected claims, which is a very vast and deep solution built on Appian with 7 different modules, from first notice of loss, settlement, fraud analysis, litigation, field operations, really providing you a capability to build that on top of your legacy, filling the gaps, but getting that end-to-end view and tackling especially claims leakage and really bring your customer service to the next level. But today we're honing in on connected underwriting for life. And to say that, let's see if my clicker works. Yes, it does. Why have we developed that? Because we hear that a lot of life insurers are dealing with legacy. Why? Life insurance is a long-term contract, right? So you have old systems, and it's not easy to do a data migration and get that out, because these are contracts, very individual, very specific. So we suggest to leave it in that old system if you can, and use our solution on top of it, but support your underwriter, who's quite angry on this picture, actually with more capabilities to underwrite quicker. And that's talking about the second point, is that there are capabilities to increase your straight-through processing, but it gets complicated when there's exceptions, right? You need an extra blood test or an extra information about this customer. who wants to insure with you. So we help you to increase that straight-through processing and case management. And last but not least, you have ideas. IT struggles with that legacy, and we give you a capability to build quicker and increase your time to market. So make sure that IT and business are both very happy. And what does that look like? Well, we show you a demonstration in a minute, but actually it's a single pane of glass, right? It's a single pane of glass with all that data together that allow you to manage workflows better and case management. And before I hand over to Yin, there's a bit of a spoiler alert, but also giving you a bit of an idea of where to focus on in the demonstration. These are the 4 capabilities that you will see in the solution that actually support you in underwriting, in that Connected Underwriting for Life solution. So data ingestion, like speed that up, get the data quality higher and easily in your environment. Case management, I managed it a few times already. That's where the process is not very structured and you need to support your underwriting to take the right decisions, email, ask for more information, but also have that capability all in one single pane of glass. Requirements handling, very specific to life insurance, like an extra blood test or an extra specification for that particular individual. So ensuring that that process doesn't break down, so that doesn't go back to Outlook, but have the ability to request a requirement and actually have the oversight that you understand what you asked for a particular risk and that you can come back to it. So have that visibility as an underwriter. And last but not least, because we collaborate with Swiss Re, we're going to show you also how an underwriting rules engine can support you, and you can connect that to the underwriting workbench and enhance your data basically with that information and capture the audit trail there. So those 4 elements are very important. So have a look at that. And this is the point that I hand over to Yin for the most exciting part of this presentation, actually the demonstration. Yin?
All right, thank you, Gijsbert. Hi, everybody. My name is Yin He. I'm the Senior Product Manager for our Connected Underwriting Solutions. And today I'll show you how Appian solutions like Connected Underwriting Life Workbench enables the true connected future for all underwriters using the best of Appian to help you get to time to market faster and speed up your implementations. So we'll start at the inception, the point of data ingestion. As we mentioned, a lot of carriers generally have multiple systems that they're trying to support that underwriting process, one of them being the method of capturing that data and creating a case from your end customer. So many carriers rely on e-applications to capture that information. With our solution, we leverage Appian's ability to easily connect systems. So we provide an API integration with our solution directly that facilitates all that data ingestion and provide that flexibility to quickly create cases, taking data from your e-application system and pull that into the workbench. So now that we know cases are being seamlessly entered into our workbench, let's pivot into what the underwriter experience is. So usually as an underwriter, I start my day, I open up 7 to 14 applications, I try and manage all of them within one browser, trying to make sense of what is my workload. With Appian and the solution's case management capabilities, I can easily manage that workload now. So the solution's routing rules engine allows managers to configure certain criteria that helps you route the right cases to the right teams. That way, I can ensure that exceptions and more difficult cases that require underwriting intervention get routed to the right place, while those eligible for straight-through processing can keep moving forward. So then when I look at my workbench and start my day, I know that I have the right workload in front of me. I can avoid any scenario where teams are cherry-picking the right cases and or, in the worst case scenario, missing cases entirely. And I can organize my day based on what's outstanding, whether it's a final requirement that we need to close out a case for, or whether it's certain SLAs that I need to hit, and then drill down into that with some high-level details to make sure that I know which cases I need to prioritize for my day. So we can dive in a little deeper into what a case looks like with more details. Here we're using Appian's data fabric. We're pulling in all the data across my different systems so I can have a full 360 view of the case without lifting a finger. So Appian has retrieved all the key information to create this single pane of glass view. Here's where it can also facilitate any communication and collaboration, whether I want to submit a decision, take action, or take notes and organize my thoughts as I review this case, and highlight and tag key pieces of information I discover as I process this case more thoroughly. So I'm empowered to digest this information and take action, again, in one single pane of glass. As Gijsbert mentioned, we have a partnership with Swiss Re Magnum as one of the rules engines that supports the decision-making for an underwriter. In this instance, we see that this case is a refer, meaning this has been passed on to the underwriter because it needs a little bit more information. And here we can show and dive deeper into all the incremental guidance from Swiss Re, whether that's any additional evidence that might be needed, any risk flags such as tobacco that I need to flag, or any adjustments that might be needed for this case, all orchestrated within this workbench itself. All right. Gijsbert mentioned requirements being a key workflow for the underwriter as we're managing additional evidence and medical evidence that might be needed to help you evaluate the case. Here, I met with all the relevant statuses and information needed for a requirement. So this is where an underwriter can start all their ordering as well. Before, usually that process would break down. You'd have a lot of systems that you'd have to access in order to retrieve, order, and wait for these requirements. When a case is created, we automatically generate requirements based on a rule set on the age and policy amount for that case. And then also, as underwriters are requiring or requesting additional information, those orders are being automatically sent out using our key partners to route back into Appian and save that additional data, those additional documents, into the case itself. And once I have received those, my SLAs are seamlessly kicked off, my workbench is updated with the new work that I need to review, all in one place. And then also really often, as you're waiting for some of that information to come back in from your third-party medical providers, underwriters might need to come back to a case and re-review it. With our AI assistants in our solution, they can be easily refreshed on key case details using high-level case summaries and be quickly brought back up to speed. Additionally, with our AI document wizard, our solution empowers underwriters to tackle these document reviews, which can be long documents, and help them summarize and be reminded of key data they may need to evaluate their case successfully. And then lastly, putting that information and insight into action when I'm ready to make the decision as the underwriter, I don't have to rekey all that data into the system. So with a few clicks, my approval decision is automatically bundling everything that's in this case. I can make certain notes that might need to kick off subsequent actions, and then connect to our downstream policy issuance systems to finish off the rest of the case. So Appian is underwriting the arduous and the tedious, all those time-consuming tasks, so that underwriters can be elevated to do what they need to do best, which is the high-value work, the high-level thinking work for these efficient valuations, and not that administrative work. And then when it comes time to look back and analyze the data of everything that's come through, the workbench supports and empowers users with real-time reporting and insights coming from your workbench. So this allows underwriters and users to quickly pull together charts to visualize their data from the front end. They can also browse existing reports and so see what other teammates have created. They can schedule these reports and notify teams at regular intervals. And then lastly, they can also create dashboards for teams to easily surface some of this data. So in summary, these are kind of the 4 key things Gijsbert had brought up at the beginning of my section, but we're avoiding getting trapped into the cycle of rekeying the same information into multiple systems and then also minimizing and preventing that like wasted time using Appian's automation. We're getting underwriters out of their inboxes, centralizing everything with our case management capabilities. So there's no searching for applications needing additional reviews. There's no searching for where have I ordered this requirement, when am I going to get it. We're giving them one place to review all their work, one place to collect their data, order new requirements, and then also collaborate with their teams and make their final decision. So our solution ultimately helps carriers remain flexible and improve speed to market with the pre-built integrations, pre-built workflows, and dashboards.
So that's great, Yin. And before we can take some questions, please do. But the key takeaways is what we showed you today is actually, move away from that legacy, bring application data together in one screen for underwriters. So when they come in the office, they are excited to work on one single pane of glass without going to the 10 different screens or more or less. And also increase that straight-through processing, right? Really manage that. Use the external solutions such as Swiss Re's Magnum, but also use the underwriting rules in Appian to increase that, enhance that where needed. So go for that straight-through processing and actually enable your underwriters to work on the exception handling. That was the second thing. And the last thing, last but not least, that monitoring capability, right? We hear a lot from our customers that, this is for an individual, an underwriter, but also for a team leader, right? To manage the team, to manage the workload balancing, but also for the head of underwriting to have a complete oversight of all the submissions that are coming in, all the exceptions that are handled. Just have that view on what is happening in my underwriting process, which is really valuable. So those are the things that you can remember, and also that we have a great solution for this, obviously. But that's the end of our presentation, and love to take some questions if you have any. For that, I need to put this on, otherwise I don't hear you. There's a question there.
You demonstrated when you had the ad requirements, and you say you're sending it out to people who aren't using the Appian system. Like, can you explain that and how you're getting it back and sending it out? How you're getting back? Are you using the API? Are you or what system are they? Are you linking it to maybe like a web portal or something other that, or something that can you just?
Yeah, absolutely. So with the solution out of the box, we'll have a pre-built integration to our partner Release Point. They're a medical evidence retrieval provider. And so we work with their API to make sure that we're sending them the right data for that particular applicant, for the particular type of evidence we're trying to request, and then intaking that information. But the beauty of the solution, it's designed so that we can connect with a carrier's other systems as well, using the power of Appian, in case you have other third-party providers that maybe use a web portal in order to make those requests. So there's flexibility in how, once you order it from Appian, what that trigger is for that retrieval process, depending on your provider and type of requirement too.
Is that answering your question? Yeah? Yeah. All right, great. Any other questions? Yeah.
Is the data fabric more of an integration platform? That's one question. And then the second is, how do we manage the SLAs with different dependencies, external dependencies? One taking few seconds, second taking few milliseconds, third taking few minutes. How do we manage that SLA?
Do you want to speak to the first part?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so it's data fabric is it's about connecting the data, but it's also having that. We have and I'm not super technical. I'll explain it in a very simple way. But we have this. Data fabrics allows you to feed the records that you have in your Appian platform, so the data elements that you need, right? So they're in a kind of a cache situation. They're very quickly accessible, but they come from the golden sources and the legacy that you have, right? Or external sources. So it's not just about integrating, but also having that complete view of the data that you need. So that is the answer to the first question. So because when you have that those baskets of the key data that you need, then you can really bring that into your process, right? And give that to the people that need it at a certain time in that processing of, in this case, the life insurance. Does that answer your first question?
Yeah.
Yes? Oh, great. And you want to take the second one?
Yeah, for the second piece on the SLA question, the workflow out of the box right now kicks off the SLA as soon as the underwriters received that information. We're not trying to penalize the underwriter for potentially that outstanding time that you might be waiting on retrievals. But that is configurable depending on a carrier's appetite. And then those SLAs, depending on each of the specific requirements, are also configurable as well.
All right, so my question is going back to the data fabric. So is that data fabric monodirectional, bidirectional, or either, depending on how you architect it? So in other words, you're talking about pulling information from those golden sources.
Yeah.
But if I edit it in Appian, does it feed it back to the golden sources?
Yeah, no, great question. And thanks for highlighting that, because yes, it is. Yes, you can use it in your process, the users can update it, and you feed it back where it belongs. Appian doesn't hold the data. It needs to go to your systems where it belongs, because there might be people that are using that system, for example, only, right? Like a policy admin system or something that are only doing the work there. Can happen, but it is in sync. So Appian doesn't hold it, and yes, it goes back normally, unless you don't want to, but I don't see a reason why you not want to do that. Yeah.
So this question is about your partnership with Swiss Re.
Yeah.
When you deploy something like Magnum across a client base,
yeah,
does it allow them the feedback to maybe improve their rules and logic so that there is less bottlenecks to straight through processing and lesser referrals, etc.?
Yeah, that's a question for Swiss Re, actually. Yeah. But so I've discussed that with them, but I'm hesitant to answer the question. But I understand, and caveating here that I'm speaking on behalf of Swiss Re. They are actually, as I understand it, they give it to their cedents, obviously, to improve their underwriting rules. And they can actually, as I understand it, they collaborate with their cedents on those rules, and they can adjust it and come to an agreement kind of how that is deployed. And if they deploy it in the cloud, they can both use the data and learn from it. And it's an evolving thing. And it's, as I understand it, the Swiss Re's Life Solution is one of the best in the market. Yeah, I'm saying that on behalf of Swiss Re. I'm not the expert here. Is that helpful? Oh, is it? Oh, right. Is that? Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, if you.
Just a bit of a follow-up. Where I was getting with that is Swiss Re probably has new sources of data because of this solution, which they did not have before. So the collaboration becomes even more.
Oh, right.
That way.
Well, we are not really, and well, maybe, but we're not really enhancing the data as such of Magnum. However, I see where you're getting at. We do make it easier for the cedents to use it. And yeah, that I suppose that feeds back to the Swiss Re's Magnum solution as well. But where we really complement is that actually when Swiss Re, or it could be another provider, offers a solution like this, they go to the cedents and the insurer says, well, fantastic solution, but how do I connect that together, right? This is my IT landscape. How do I bring that to the underwriter that needs it at a certain point? And do you have a workbench with this? And Swiss Re is not really, that's not their forte, right? And that's where we really complement each other. And we are not a data owner, right? So we are focused on process automation, can create a workbench and connect it all together. And Swiss Re is focused on really improving their underwriting rules engine. Cool. Yeah, no, good question. Fantastic.
Actually, the gentleman took part of my question, but the other portion of it was to what extent does the insurer's process need to be like rebuilt in Appian versus what can continue to exist within their existing application? In your picture, you kind of showed it sitting on top.
Yep.
Right. Does the are the rules and processes still sitting in the legacy system, and you're just like the interface, or does everything need to be rebuilt within your workbench?
I would say there's the solution is built with some flexibility in mind. As we've designed it, we're aiming for what do a majority of workflows look like, right? Knowing that carriers also have specificity within how they do certain things. And so the goal is, let's see how much we can help you get something up and running in Appian a lot faster. And then if we might need to pull in another rules engine that you're already leveraging to help kickstart this part of the process within Appian, we'll work with you to do that as well. Does that help answer your question?
Yeah, and you see that a lot with core solution providers have kind of workflow, which is fine, and you can use that. But it's only happy days when you're using the data of that particular system, right? And we expand your view here and all those musical instruments, right? That's allowing you to build workflow there. But as to Yin say, you can use the best of both worlds.
There is flexibility, correct.
Yeah. Fantastic questions. Any other challenging question or exciting question?
All right.
Well, thank you very much for listening to our presentation. And if you have any questions other than this or anything, then please reach out to Yin or myself after the session. Thank you very much.
Thanks.